Welcome to CNC 3-bit Deathless. So this is going to be GDI mission 1. So this is a tutorial based mission, so there's not going to be too much to this because it's very handholdy. But I did try my best to try and glitch past certain sections. That way I could avoid using the orcas or the ion cannon. But yeah, that couldn't be avoided in this mission. So I'm going to try and make it as hard as I can. So we are playing this on hard difficulty. So that is a start. Now what I'm going to do for extra rules is I'm going to only use units that are given to me. So any units that I build, I can't use, but any units that come in the form of reinforcements, they're fair game. So we're going to start off with our 2 rifleman squads here. They're going to be able to pick off the militant squads plus these rocket troops here. Also, by the way, since I'm not really familiar with CNC3, I'm probably going to just call them call the units like rifle squads or rocket troops like I would in CNCZH. So just keep that in mind. So for anyone in my audience that doesn't know, infantry are built in groups in this game. So there is one more rule that I'm going to add in. So if any of my infantry in the group goes down, then I'm going to treat that as a unit lost as well. So that is also going to be the same rule that was applied in another YouTuber's channel called Simonet. So Simonet also had this exact same rule. So they also did CNC3 Deathless. They also did Kane's Wrath Deathless as well. So I'm going to use that rule. Plus I'm also going to add in whatever rules I can, just to, add in a little bit more difficulty to each mission. So right now what we're doing is basically doing what we're told, building up a barracks, and we're going to be told to build up 3 rifleman squads. But like I said to you before, I'm not going to use any of those units that I build. I'm just going to use the 2 rifleman squads that are fully vetted, and then any other infantry and reinforcements along the way. So for anyone in my audience watching, just so you know, this isn't going to be a full-blown series just yet. This is more just me testing the waters to see what you guys think. So if you guys like this overall, then let me know, and then we can turn this into a series later on. Also, give me lots of feedback. Do you want me to turn the voice lines off? Do you want me to move myself to the bottom right corner like I normally would with my ZH challenges? Yeah, let me know. So right now we've just lost the power plant. Now that is unavoidable, so any challenges that would involve not losing structures cannot happen, at least in this mission. It could happen in other missions for the GDI campaign, but again, this is me speaking with very limited knowledge of what the campaigns entail. So right now I've just got to do what I'm told and build up a power plant and then go from there. So for anyone in the Tiberium Wars community, I'll just introduce myself. I am Correcolo. I mainly do CNC ZH challenges, so Deathless runs, can't build any units challenges, things of that nature. So eventually in the future, I would like to incorporate some of what I do in that game into this game. That is, of course, if my audience would also want to go along for the ride on that one. And with this game, I haven't played this game in probably about 10 years, so the same sort of time frame as Supreme Commander. That was another RTS game I played long ago. So I'm sort of going into this as a bit of a blank canvas. So for anyone in the Tiberium Wars community that are experienced or pro players, any tips and tricks, gladly would appreciate that. That way I can learn the game much faster. So now we're going to get into the action side of things here. So we're going to build up some watchtower base defenses, which are going to be good against infantry mainly. So we're going to build up a few of these, and I've gone a bit further back, going very close to where my construction yard is. I'm also going to move my harvester and my infantry out of the way, because I don't want to take any losses with my own infantry. I'd rather just let the watchtowers do the work here. It might take a little bit longer compared to, actually getting my riflemen involved, but at least this way I'm not going to take any units lost, or any units inside my rifleman groups being taken out too. So we've got enough for 3 watchtowers. Not used to the power systems just yet, so I ended up disabling my refinery to get all 3 watchtowers working again, and now it's just a matter of time until we take out all of these infantry groups here. So since my watchtowers took out the first batch of infantry, there was another batch of infantry that had a couple of rocket troopers as well, but because that group was even smaller than the first batch, it was easy work for those watchtowers. Now I'm going to evac my riflemen from this garrison building, and we're going to move them in on the attack. So I've got to take out the Hand of Nod plus another building as well, and then that way we can expand the map even further. Now we also got reinforcements, and we got 2 sets of our own rocket troops too. Now these rocket troops haven't got veterancy, so with that in mind, I decided to get my riflemen to go after the Nod rocket troops, and then get my own rocket troops to go after the Hand of Nod. That way they can be the ones responsible for damaging it and hopefully getting the veterancy. So in this game, gaining veterancy works differently. So normally in General ZH, if you were to destroy buildings or destroy units, you could gain veterancy that way. But even just damaging the buildings will gain veterancy for whatever unit's attacking. And if you're in a situation where your enemy is repairing the building, then you could basically indefinitely gain veterancy and then have an army of fully vetted units. So that is something that we could take advantage of going forward in future missions too. Now, since we destroyed the Hand of Nod and the other building too, we're going to also get some engineers as reinforcements. So I got one engineer that's going to get a hold of the bridge, that way it's fully repaired for us to cross. The other one is going to capture the Nod power plant, and that is also going to be a bonus mission as well. So while I was attacking Nod, I forgot to turn the refinery back on. So I had one full harvester worth of resources ready to go. And the thing is, it wasn't too big of an issue because we're only going to be building a few more buildings anyway, being the Tiberium silo, the airfield, and another power plant, because we are going to be selling off that Nod power plant because that is a bonus objective. And again, I failed to realize the power situation here. So in a minute, we will go low power. Now, what we're doing is we cross the bridge with the rocket troops, but what we're doing is we're staying just out of its aggro range, and these rocket troops are going to be within range of them, but they're not going to react, so we'll be able to pick off all of these Scorpion tanks and buggies one by one. So basically my goal for my rocket troops is to inch them close enough to the Nod base, that way we can trigger a transmission that will allow us to build the airfield. Now with the airfield we'll be able to get Orcas, so with the Orcas we'll be able to use them to take out the Nod base. But I can't do that right now because we're getting chased by a buggy here, which are good against infantry. So I take a few pot shots on the buggy as well. So we did damage it a little bit, but now I'm going to regroup. So I sell off my Nod power plant. Now again we go low power, and I ended up disabling one of my other buildings. That way we can build up our new power plant a little bit faster. Not too fast about the power plant situation. We just need to focus on getting past the buggy and the militant squad. So we're going to move our rocket troops just close enough, and we're going to just keep taking pot shots on the rocket buggy. He's going to inch his way closer to my guys, and it seems like the buggy in question isn't really doing a lot of damage. Now we actually got very lucky here because our rockets ended up taking out a bunch of those militant squad guys, so means that they won't be able to do as much damage to these guys if they get close enough. So we're able to take out the buggy, and I'm going to switch out for my other infantry. I'll also get my own militant squad to join up with the other guys that we're not using in the bottom left corner. We're going to get our power plant as well. That way we don't need to keep that building disabled any further. And now with our riflemen, we can take out the last of that militant squad, and then we can move our rocket troops to take out those 2 Scorpion tanks plus that other buggy. So now we just got to play the waiting game with our rocket troops taking out these Nod vehicles, so then we can trigger that transmission. That way we can build up the airfield. So with our infantry, we could get even closer to the Nod base. The problem with that though is that the Nod will build anti-infantry defense, so it does mean that we'll, most likely take a death there. So we can only go so far. So now we've just triggered that transmission in the top right corner, so we'll be able to build up that airfield, and then we can get our Orcas as reinforcements. So we're going to get 2 Orcas, so even if it was 1 Orca, it's still going to be enough. It really depends on how you use the Orca, because later on we will get access to the ion cannon as well. So the goal here is to basically use the Orcas in a way where we can trigger the transmission that allows us to use the ion cannon to finish up the mission. Now we ended up getting a tank that came out of nowhere. Luckily my guys weren't on the bridge, otherwise they might have gotten run over by that tank. So good news there. So now we're at the last objective here, where we're going to take out the barracks, the war factory, and the construction yard. So with our Orcas, I want to use these guys as fast as possible because Nod is going to bust out a lot of units now. So I want to move the Orcas in quickly while their anti-air isn't that strong. So those buggies do anti-air as well. So I'm going to move in and we're just going to circle around. We are going to take a little bit of damage from a few of these buggies, but not enough to really hurt us too badly. Now, Nod did build some anti-air defense, so this is where we're going to retreat, and now we've gotten the transmission in the top right corner, which will allow us to fire off that ion cannon. I'm not going to fire the ion cannon just yet, because I'm going to build a Tiberium silo. That way I can finish that bonus mission. Now I'm going to fire off the ion cannon, and with that, that is going to be how we did GDI Mission 1 Deathless. So with that one, if you enjoyed this one, leave a like, comment, subscribe. I do have a playlist if you want to check out any of my 0-hour content. I'm Crocolo, and I shall see you in the next one, whether it's CNC3 or CNCZH. See ya.